Hello, welcome. My name is Manuel from Kata Studios. We got ourselves yet another series, the color contrast series. So in this series, we'll be bordering on color issues for web designers and graphic designers. So I'll be bringing up more lessons on colors and how to solve problems with colors, how to select colors for your logo, how to set colors for backgrounds, how to set colors for your any project at all. This borders for both website designers and graphic designers. So as you can see with what we have here, this will be our first lesson. I won't be talking much about it in our second lesson. By then, you must have understand what you're trying to do. By the end of this particular lesson, we'll be doing a trial with a logo design from one of us. And we are trying to figure out what particular color will work for it. I'm going to guide you through on how to pick colors and how to select colors for logos based on the kind of logos you're working with. Possibly, I might show examples. If I don't have much time to do examples for this series, for this particular lesson, I'll be doing that in our next lesson in the same series. So hook up, subscribe, and then get to that particular playlist, pick on that color playlist, and then ring notification bell whenever I publish a new video like this. You're gonna get it. So number one here, we got the black and white color, which are not colors. These are parent colors because I don't consider them as colors. They usually appear anywhere, whether you like it or not. So we are not going to be considering this, but we are going to be using them as a base or a stepping point for everything we'll be doing today. So they are going to be the judges for all the colors we are going to be dealing with today, because in most cases we have issues where black colors, you place a color on black background, it wouldn't work. Place a color on white background, it wouldn't work very well, even though it's not the same color variants. So we are just trying to psychologically figure that we are not going to do everything here. This is not CMYK or RGB color palette. This is just random colors I picked, and I think that this could be problem colors. These are usually problem colors. Royal blue is a problem color. Red is a problem color. Pink is a problem color, and yellow is usually a problem color. So let's try to figure out what we can figure out for today's lesson. So let's drag in just, I'm actually making a logo for a client. That's why you see all these debris above. So we're going to pull this at the front, arrange, you bring it to the front, and let's reduce the size a little. So for this one, we are going to set the color to white. Okay, pick that white color. And we are going to do another one for this. And for this one, we are going to set the color to black. You know why we are doing this? Because I'm trying to show you the basic of color understanding. Okay, now what I just did now is reverse. Okay, I just did what's called the opposite. We switched colors based on the background. So whatever color we have here is not going to be the color the content is going to be. It's going to be the color the opposite background is. And whatever color the content from here is going to be the color we are going to use for the content over here. So the background color is black. The text on the white one is going to be black. The background color over here is white. The text on this other one is going to be white. Now we have two variants of colors. We have the dark variant, which belongs to black, and we have the bright variants, which belongs to white. So anything from the bright variant I'm going to be showing you today belongs to white. In no cases should you use bright variant on white background, and in no case should you use any dark variant on a black background. I hope you understand that. Now, when I say black, dark, and bright background, I'm not just saying black and white. Remember I told you earlier that black and white are just parent background colors or parent colors, and we shouldn't consider them as colors actually, because they must appear whether you like it or not. So we must have to do our design to work on all variants for those two colors. Okay, now there are cases where a color your client pick might not work in a particular color base. It wouldn't work on black, but it would work well on white. Or it wouldn't work on white, but it work well on black. I'm still going to show you when we get to the example stage. We'll be doing a practice now with one of the logo one of us made, and I'm going to show you how to tweak it. It's a little bit complex logo to actually mix and match color, but we are going to deal with that. Now, let's get down to this. We have done this for the first one, and the second one, we are good to go. We are going to make sure we place all color, the black and white one, double for each of this background. So the blue color, we have a white and also a black text on it. Now what we are trying to do is A/B testing. A/B testing means we're trying to check out this and this, which one works for which. So we reduce the size of that, and we also reduce the size of this. No, don't complain yet. Okay, don't complain yet. Let's proceed. You might say, wow, this black doesn't make sense. Yes, I know you know, but let's proceed. Place this here. We place this here, and we place this here. When we are talking about color contrast, some persons don't understand what color contrast is. Okay, now when you look at a color and a text on a color and it is giving you some kind of eye issue, it's not like we can't see all colors here. All colors here are very visible, but some of them are like the contrast is like it's giving you an issue in the eyes. It's burning your eyes. It's making you feel like I can't just look at this. That is what color contrast simply means. It means it is not base, or it's not default for all eyesight. People who have eye issues might have problem looking at that. So what we want for our viewers is for them to enjoy the content no matter what background this content fall on. That is why we have the brand guidelines, and some people do this wrongly. I've seen many brand guidelines where they didn't even point out this color shouldn't be used in this particular background, or this color belongs to this background, or this color don't work in this kind of background colors. Because sometimes clients might send 3 colors and they might want to use one of those colors as the base, which is the background. And the color you actually made the logo with wouldn't work. So it's good to provide all variants that work on those backgrounds based on what the clients need. But we're not going into that today. What we are going into to figure out what is going on here. If we actually decide to force in black on this background, we are going to get a huge problem. Like, people are not going to enjoy this. This is not content at all. This doesn't make any sense to me. Okay? And we say let's force in white to this background. It's not going to make any sense too. For instance, if we adopted a brighter yellow, possibly let's say this is the color of the client's project. You see, now we adjusted this. Can you just imagine how things are going? White works perfectly well on the blue, but it doesn't. I'm trying to explain this in the most basic way so you understand it. The layers of the layers will understand it. Okay. So you see, it doesn't work well because we are using a bright color on a bright variant of color. It wouldn't work. It will never ever work. So now let's test another color for this blue. Okay, we're going to test out something very close to blue also. Okay, we pick up on, let's pick up on a very dark blue. Still the same problem. Let's pick another color. Let's pick on red. Let's try red on blue. Let's try red on blue. Let's see. You see, very poor, very bad, very bad. I'm sorry I'm burning your eyes, okay? But you need to learn this way. We need to learn this way so that we understand. So let's try pink. Pink is still not going to work. So until we use a dark, a very bright variant, possibly a bright variant. Now, I talked about using a bright variant, like pink is a bright variant. Now, we might use it here. It still wouldn't work. I'm going to tell you why it happens. Now, pick on this color. It's going to work perfectly well because of what? It's a bright variant of the dark pink we picked. We are going to pick on this, and we are going to pick on blue. The same blue we have here, which means you are picking dark on a dark background. So let's use the eyedropper tool. Where is it? We can't find it. Okay, there's it. We pick on the blue, and we have it. You see, it is a very poor contrast. So what we are going to do here, we select on the blue again, and we select on the lighter version of the blue, which is possibly the sky blue or something close to that, and we're still having the same problem. Okay, now when we select on the darker version of the blue, we're having a same problem but a little bit fair, but this one is just as though it is just black, so it's still not making any sense. Now, why does this happen? We tried the brighter version of blue and we tried the darker version of blue. It still didn't work on red. What that means is this: there are colors that no matter what you do to them, they are not going to work on that particular background except you move it to another background. So this blue over here, if we invariably move it to black, it's going to work perfectly well. Perfectly well. Okay, if we move it to white also, it's going to work perfectly well. You get the point? So the issue here is there are colors that are just not going to work, and you're just going to try out until you mix and match till you get what you want. Let's get to the second level now, which is the pink one. So we're going to select on this pink version. We're going to select the same pink color. Okay, I want to be very quick so we can get into, I have other things to do, so we can get into the practical, and then we do that from there. Now, this pink, you see, we selected the same pink. Let's see the darker pink. You see how it's going to look. Now, we're going to select the more darker pink, and you see the pink color, the same variant, is going to work on itself. Look, you see, the pink now is working perfectly on itself. Let's expand this. But remember that the dark variant of color didn't work on this, but the pink dark worked on the pink background. I don't know if you understand. The same applies to the yellow. Okay, so what this means is most color variants or most color variables that you place on the background, you may need to use the darker variable of that particular color, and you are going to achieve what you want, still maintaining a dark color. Okay, instead of using a bright color on that particular variable, you can use a darker one and still maintain the same contrast perfection. Okay, just as what we did here, and we are still going to do that from here. We pick on this and we pick on yellow. Okay, let's use eyedropper tool so you know that we are still in the same game. So we pick on the eyedropper tool, we pick on the yellow. So let's go back to the yellow now and we make it a darker version like this, and we click on OK. You see, it works perfectly well, works better than the black. That is just the simple trick there. Now, look at what we are going to do again. Let's expand this. Let's expand this. Perfect. So look at what you're going to do again. So you don't think that this is a little bit tricky on those colors like I told you before now. We are going to set a particular color for this blue. So we set this blue as the same blue, and we want to select the darker version of that particular blue. Let's select on the darker version. You see that it is not going to work. You see, let me zoom it out. So let me expand it so you don't think that it's because these ones are expanded. You see, it wouldn't work no matter what you do. It wouldn't work. The same applies to red. If you try to do that on red, it still wouldn't work. Except you select on this, you select on a lighter color. It must not even be the same color as we used. It might even be the more lighter color of the blue, like something like this. Something like this will also work. You see, the same thing applies to red. The darker red won't work, but the lighter version of that red will work. Let's delete this and let's do it from here. So sometimes if you must pick a color, let's pick the lighter version, which is this. You see, it works well. Now, sometimes if you must pick a color, now these are pale colors. These ones we just deal with now are called pale colors. Pale colors are not specifically the color your clients want, but they are colors that are going to complement your client's color. Now we are coming gradually. In the next lesson, I'm going to go more deep into this particular color type or color usage. So you understand, in most cases, this is too bright. The yellow is too bright. We can't use this for your brand, madam. But still, we can do it. The logo can go on this and it will work perfectly well. Okay? The logo can go on red, work perfectly well. Go on anything, it work perfectly well. Okay? But there are colors that are stubborn. If you find out those kind of colors, for instance, you want to pick on this color, you want to use a black, a dark, they want to force you to use a dark color on this. So watch what happens. We are going to pick the same color. Let's just pick a blue, okay? Because we understand what we are doing now. Pick a blue. So you need to select on the background and reverse the color to the lighter blue. I don't know if you get. So this is the simple trick. This is just the simple trick. There is no big deal in it. Once you switch a color, reverse. Switch a color, reverse. Remember what you did in the beginning? We tried to actually use a different color for this background and use a different color for this background because those are opposite colors and we are not going to use the same color on the same color. Imagine you using black on black. So let's try that out. So we select on this color, we select on black. Boom, we are gone. And we select on this one, we select on white. There is a text there, but we can't see it. That's a simple trick. There's a text there, we can't see it. Now, how do we make this visible? We have to go with the opposite color. How we make this other one visible? We have to go with the opposite color. Okay? So black and white are not colors. Those are variables. Those are parent colors. Those appears anywhere, no matter whether you like it or not. But these other colors, you have to be very fair with them. You have to be very playful with them. You have to try around. You don't need to just be strict on colors. Your client sends you color, you can still use it, but still maintain that atmosphere for that brand and also maintain the atmosphere for good visibility. Because if your design is not visible, it wouldn't make any sense. Let's dive into that particular design and see what we can do. Let's see if that is here. Perfect. So first off, let's make sure that this is on a specific width. We want this to be like so and this one to be like so. Okay, let's adjust this a little more. Let's adjust this and adjust this because we want a space for the color. So fine. Now this is what we have by default, but we are actually trying to figure out the colors, the way we are going to use these colors to make sure they make sense over here. So that's what we are going to do. We have a color variable made available for us. He actually selected some colors, which we are actually going to deal with today. So I'm going to pop in those two colors into this space. And we're going to pick our color from here. Let's expand this. Let's pull this in. I think this is the second one. So we are actually unable to pick this color because of what? Okay, let's just put this color inside Photoshop and let's save it again. Maybe that's the problem we are having. I think that's cool. Let's put it in now. Perfect. So when you have an issue, error, you can save it in Photoshop, then bring it back to Illustrator. So we have these two color variables. And by the way, if you want to pick colors like this, let me show you what to do. A link will be made available in the description below, so you can pick whatever color you want from there, not this. Okay, is this one? Perfect. So this particular link we provided, colors.co/palettes/trending. Accept all cookies. This is a good guy. So these are the colors. You see, you can pick all colors, any colors you want from here. If you want to do any design, you can just pick any color. Once you click on it, boom. I think this is the color we actually have right now. This one over here. You can pick multiple colors for your design, and I'm going to show you how to. This is actually the particular platform we're using throughout this series of this particular lesson. We're using this particular platform, and we'll be pulling out all colors here. We'll be trying out some dangerous colors from here in the future, so we can see what problem we may be facing and how to solve those problems very easily. If you look here, whenever I hover on a dark color, it becomes a bright text. Okay, whenever I hover on a light one, it becomes a dark text. White text, dark text. That's the color contrast. These people really understand colors and what actually makes up colors. This is simply what we are saying. So we understand in this lesson that we have dark variable belonging to all black colors and bright variable belonging to all white colors. So whenever you're dealing with any color, you notice that that color is bright, make sure it relies on a dark background. For instance, we see we have the same color on both black background and white background. You see, it works well for both black and works well for both dark background. But if, for example, we selected on this and pick on a lighter blue, lighter yellow, like this one, it will work well on this black background. But whenever we select on this and pinch in that yellow, it wouldn't work fine on the white background. See, we are having issues understanding what's going on here. Now, what this simply means is that a color works on a particular background doesn't mean that a different variant of that color will still work on that background. So when you are playing around with things, don't go with theories, go more with what? Your idea. Visualize what you want to do, observe your work very closely. For instance, you can possibly give it an hour break or two, come back, look at the design again, then you can get to work. Let's create our color palette very quickly. So we want to use 3 color palettes for this particular design. So let's expand this and let's 1, 2, and let's make it vertical align, and 3. Perfect. We have 3 colors from here. Let's push them down here and expand them a little like this. Perfect. So we have our primary color, which is the yellow. We have our secondary color, which is the let's pick this color once and for all. Let's pick this blue. I think this is perfect. Or the darker blue. Okay, let's use that one. Then our complementary color we pick on this. So these are the 3 colors we'll be using, so we can do away with this. We don't need this anymore. So let's zoom closely and start our work. So now we are now considering what color we're going to use that's going to work and how we're going to play around with this to make sure this stays in place. So first off, we are going to select on this and we pick on this blue color. It works perfectly well. But remember, if you put this blue color here, it wouldn't work. Okay, so since we have the primary color and secondary color, we are going to use the primary color for this background, this one we have over here. Okay, and then use the secondary one for this particular one, because in most cases, yellow might be a problem for some people, some sites. Now, we can say the stars above. Let's just concentrate on the one above. Let's ungroup this first. I think these are grouped. Let's ungroup this, and so we can select our color separately. So we select on this one and we give it a color of this. Does it make any sense? Almost, but I don't like the fact that this is a different color we have over here. So let's select everything and make everything the color. Still doesn't make any sense to me. Let's select everything now and make everything this color. I think selecting just one color will make more sense. Let's select this second one and make it the primary color, and the other one at the top, the complementary color. I think this makes more sense. Now, how do we play around with this on a black or dark background? If this works well, for me, it works well like this, except the owner would like to, play around a little more. But adding too many colors on a particular logo mark, this is actually word mark, wouldn't make sense, okay? If you use many colors on word mark, it wouldn't make sense. So we just have to be very, very subtle in picking colors, or very decisive in picking colors, so that we don't overuse that privilege for the fact that we have too many colors to pick on. So that's why I went too subtle with this, and we pick a particular color for the name and the studio. Then we use this to actually differentiate this icon. Remember, these two icons are assuming to be a property on its own. Even when it's removed, this will seem as if it is a text on its own. So we just try to use that to make a little bit difference between those two areas. Now, in this case, what if we want to use this on a black background? We want to use the same style. The problem is that it wouldn't work very well. And we are going to try that out. Let's lock this up. We're going to delete this, and we're going to copy this and duplicate it here. You see? We have lost our work. So what we're going to do here now is this. This particular color possibly might have to be the complementary color, and all other colors is going to be the yellow, because that works well for the background. What do you think? So I think this works well for us, but in most cases, the one that works in the black background, we might decide to go all whites, or all yellow, or all white. You get it? So the one on anyone on a black background can go all white, or all yellow, or all supportive color or complementary color, which wouldn't work well, which will even make us to go a little bit lighter to make it work. So, but for me, I think the yellow will make more sense since it's the primary color, so that it will still have this feel that I noticed something there. You know, even though the yellow here actually didn't appear in most part of the design, it actually pulls a punch, because this actually makes more sense. Observing the yellow is more easier than observing the other colors. Why? Because yellow colors are usually authorities. They are authoritative colors that actually pulls a punch or pulls a weight in any environment or any background you try to place them on. So you can't hide yellow very easily. You can't hide white. And there are other colors like purple, bright purple, you can't hide. Pink, you can't hide them. If you place a pink here, it's just noticeable. But you see how this color over here, even if we used it here, it's still as though it is not very noticeable. It can't work. Like, you can't say this is just it. Okay, we can say, okay, let's switch this one at the top to be the yellow, and you will notice automatically that the yellow is now taking the eyesight. When you're looking at this, you're observing more of the yellow. You will see, you'll be like, this yellow is the color that, even though it's taking smaller parts, smaller percentage, like let me say it's taking about 3 to 5% of the whole design here, and this is taking about let's say 10% or thereabout. But you see the yellow still packs a punch. So we can decide to go this way if we want to, the complementary color below and then the yellow at the top, or we go with the complementary color above and the yellow beneath. So you understand that, and that is it for our lesson for today. You see how easy this is to actually figure out. It's not very difficult to do. Picking a color for your logo is not a difficult thing to do. If you pick this and pull it into the black background, it's not going to work. So that's where you have to improvise. You have to pick one of the color from your color grading, and you need to, or color palette, and you need to actually use it for backgrounds that are black. So you have to let your client know in this case that this is not going to work on a black background. And you might say, let's just pick a white. We actually tried that out. You see that it didn't really look good. Some cases it might look good. Just try out whatever you think is right for you. I'll meet you in the next lesson for color grading tutorial, possibly next week or so. We'll be doing another example, and I'm also going to be breaking down some important color rules that you need to actually take very seriously. So this is it in this lesson. Remember to take enough water, hug your loved ones. Till we meet again, my name is Manuel from Kata Studios. Do have a wonderful day.